my depression is at its worst. I am typically in bed for maybe 15 hours a day. When I wake up from that type of sleep, I have what I call a turtle headache, and it sort of feels like I'm completely enclosed inside of a turtle shell, and it doesn't feel to me like there's a way out.
People who have both a mental health diagnosis and a substance dependence and addiction at the same time are referred to as people who have a dual diagnosis, or what we're increasingly calling it is people with a co-occurring disorder. So these diagnoses include depression, anxiety disorders, bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, or a personality disorder, and sometimes symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. The more that we are looking at people who are actively in trouble, actively seeking treatment, people who are having multiple relapses and multiple problems, the more likely we are to find that they have multiple diagnoses.
What I'm diagnosed with is chronic alcoholism and post-traumatic stress disorder. And there's no pill to make that better.
But especially when I just got out of high school, I started getting like anxiety attacks. Like when I'd wake up and have really bad stomach cramps from being really nervous. It was hard to walk even, because I was really self-conscious about everything.
I thought on a moment-by-moment basis of killing myself, but I was so panicked I couldn't even do that. So what I did is I cut myself. I would just cut and cut and cut and cut, just so something would not hurt so badly inside anymore.
I'd start stuttering because I get nervous and like get really sweaty and for no real reason.
I knew I was an alcoholic, but yet I didn't care. I didn't have the motivation to get out of it.
It was like I was in a constant state of terror almost. Like I was constantly afraid, And when I found like heroin, and I mean, that just totally took me completely away, and I wasn't scared anymore. I wasn't, I wasn't depressed. I mean, I felt fine.
We're not just talking about addictive disorders that involve substances.
I've probably lost around $100,000 over a 2-year period at the casino.
My eating disorder consumed me as much, I feel, as I have heard alcohol can and drugs.
My gambling is similar to my drinking. It's a means of medication for me.
A typical week for me with my bulimic symptoms would be going through the day, not eating at all, but functioning highly, as I thought.
That the person can become addicted to that behavior and lose control of that behavior in harmful ways, which is the hallmark of addiction.
This one particular woman who's very, very well known in that community and had been sober for a number of years asked me, oh, by the way, are you still on medication? I told her, yeah. And she looked me dead in the eye and said, well, I am really sorry to tell you, but you're not sober.
Sometimes people will hear from other people in recovery that taking medication is a sign that you're not really sober, or that taking medication is a sign that you're not really dealing with your feelings properly. And it's very important to remember that just because you're an addict doesn't mean you deserve lesser treatment than people without addiction.
I know now that I am sober.
I mean, I did everything high. And so I thought, if I'm not using, then how am I gonna have fun? What am I gonna do? It's not that way. I still do the same things. I think I'm just more into it, actually.